So when it comes to storylines that you might want for him and things that you want to see for him, things that you hope for him, can you tell me what you kind of want for him in the future?
Sure. Well, I love that Ham is in a band, and so if there was continuing adventures for the band, going on tour, having to stay at a haunted house in order to collect some money, I think those would be all great plot lines that I wish they would do. The fact that they haven't done the haunted house to collect the inheritance plot line is a big loss for this show. Yeah, that'd be great.
So, do you ever have those moments in your personal life where you feel like a honeybee when people do stuff and you're like, what is happening here? How much do you relate to that character?
Oh, anytime anyone's ever had a conversation with a man, you're like, what's going on? Who let him outside? But yeah, I think we've all had different situations where we feel like a fish out of water. And it's, I've been to Juneau, Alaska. I've never been to Fresno, California. But I've been to California before. So it's to go from a mid-sized town to a very small town. It's been very secluded and has a lot of its own traditions. And, this family has a lot of its own traditions. And to come in and be like, she said to find herself and figure things out. And I think she enjoys these silly things that they have. Like, her with Moose trying to figure out how to, with Moon, trying to figure out how to do just the zombie, right? Just be a dead person. She's just laying on the ground with Moon. And he's trying to tell her just how to be. Someone has to pick you up, be quiet. And she's like, so am I being dead right? How do I do this? How do I do this? So she's like, what's happening? But then when it gets explained to her, she's like, all right, let's just see. Like, as long as you just explain it to me, I'm fine. Just tell me what we're doing.
What about Moon stands out to you as a character when you think of all the other characters that you voiced?
Well, I think because I have sort of a younger sounding voice, I have done a lot of kids and younger roles and teens. But the funny thing about Moon to me is that he's 10 years old as a human, but like emotionally maybe like 100. So I love that he has that depth and that wisdom and like a little bit of gravity and gravitas that you don't always get with like younger characters.
I really want to know, when you're making these stories about family and about, large families and kind of like the dysfunctional, functional nature of them, are you pulling from your own life and your own experiences, or are you thinking up, what combination is it of like imagination versus like your own real life?
I definitely identify a lot with Beef. I have 4 kids like him, and, he constantly is worried about people leaving. Like, none of my kids is older than 11, but when they bring up going to college, I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, close, or what are we talking? We're going to go in California? So, like, I definitely identify with a lot of that. And, I think, for Bob's, we've brought some of our own stuff. Like, the Boys for Now really came from Lizzie's obsession with boy bands. Yeah. So, I think it's like a good, usually a mix of something that comes from either your personal story or someone else on the writing staff. And then, I think applying to sort of like, how would that work for our family? How would that work for the Tobins? How would that work for the Belchers? So I think some of the most fun story ideas come from your personal experience, because it's you sort of reliving it in a way that maybe has a little more comedy to it. So that's always a great jumping off point for us.